Hey, what's up guys? I'm Brogan. Today in this video, we're diving straight into the R36MAX plug-and-play portable handheld game console right here. This advertises over 18,000 plug-and-play titles already ready to go installed within this. This has a 4-inch IPS screen and a 4,000 milliamp hour battery life. So definitely excited to unbox this with you guys. We're going to take a look at the layout and design of this product, and then we're going to comb through what's included on here so we know exactly what we're getting ourselves into. And then we'll dive into some games and test out the performance. All right, let's go ahead and start opening this up. Now, one thing I want to make mention of is the fact that this uses the RK3326 gaming chip with 1.5 gigahertz 64-bit processor in here. So we've got ourselves a nice little carrying case right here. We also have our user guide. Nothing else in the box. We'll set that aside. Let's take a look real quick at the user guide here. I always just like to see how thorough they are. Oh wow, we've got QR codes here, which will actually walk through our instructions. Let me go to the English side. All right, it walks through the different key combinations here, how to navigate your way through this, how to power it on, how to switch emulator cores. Definitely a lot of good information, but those QR codes are definitely coming in handy here. Let's go ahead and open this up now. So here's the actual handheld, what's included in here. We've got a screen protector. Actually, it looks like, yep, one screen protector. We also have the cleaning pads there, so we can actually wipe everything down, make sure you get all the dust removed. We have the dust absorber on the back as well. Here's our charging cable, USB-A to USB Type-C right here. So Type-C is going to plug into the device. USB-A is going to be what you plug it into a PC to charge from. Or, of course, you can go ahead and you can plug it into a power bank power outlet if your power outlet supports USB-A connection. But the carrying case here, very nice, great way to protect it. It's a soft shell, but it's got, I guess you would consider this to be like a cross between a hard shell and a soft shell. Definitely keeps its form and seems to be quite durable. But let's bring over our handheld into the mix. All right, guys, here is the actual handheld console. We've got a 4-button configuration over here, A, B, X, and Y. We've got our function button dead center. We've got start, select, dual analog sticks here, and we also have our D-pad located right over here. If we go to the right side of this, we have an empty micro SD card slot. Over here, we have our plus and minus for volume control on the side. Flip it around to the other side here, and you're going to see we have a micro SD card in the other micro SD card slot here. That is going to be with a 64 gigabyte generic micro SD card. That's where your 18,000 games are found. Above that, we have our power button here. We also have our reset button right below that. And now if we go to the back side here, you're going to notice that we have our L1, L2, R1, and R2 shoulder and trigger buttons located on the back side. You see where my fingers line up. They're not the most responsive buttons, if I'm being perfectly honest. They're a little bit, I don't want to say hard to engage, but they're not, they're tight buttons. So their action is somewhat limited, I feel. Definitely have to, put a little oomph behind that to engage those. They're not as seamless as, I'd like them to be. Now, in terms of our screen, our display right here is 4-inch IPS screen, so definitely a good size screen, but it's time to power this on and see, oh wait, we got the bottom here too, I forgot about that. We've got our DC power supply connection that goes right there, OTG on the other side, so 2 Type-C ports, and then dead center is where you're going to find your audio jack connection, so you could bring a headphone set into the mix here. So we're going to go ahead and power this on, and we'll comb through what this has to offer. We'll hold down the power button, let it do its thing. All right, guys, here we are fully loaded up into the micro SD card. This is, again, a 64 gigabyte micro SD card that is located right over here on our R36MAX Handheld Game Console. So for all games list, I'm actually looking for the game count. It's down there at the bottom, 18,543 games located right there by my thumb. So definitely lines up perfectly with what's being advertised, but we got to see what it looks like inside here. So we're going to go ahead and select with the A button. This is how everything populates in. It doesn't appear that we have box art in here. So that may be a way that they have cut down on the amount of storage space, and considering the fact that they have a 64 gigabyte storage capacity on here. So you can see text list on the right-hand side. Over here is where you would have your box art, your different scraped data, but looks like that's been left out of here, which I'm not crazy about, but again, I understand it because of the 64 gigabyte capacity on here. But scrolling through here, it is tough to find what you're looking for if it's just going solely off of the text list there. And it doesn't appear to be in alphabetical order.
So it's going off of the numbers that are in here in front of the actual letters. So I'm gonna see if we can, let's see if we can go to the jump to, let's go to A titles, for example, or we'll go to B titles. Oh, okay, all right. So maybe it's just the first batch of titles there. So yeah, see, some don't have it, but when we get down here to the Bs, it looks like we do have that. And you can see how this looks way nicer for Batman, the movie right here, for example, compared to down here where you just don't have anything scraped. So, all right, we're gonna back out of this. We're gonna go collection by collection. Favorites here. Favorites is going to be a custom collection that you set up for yourself for easy access. It's gonna just save you a lot of time. If you like a certain game, you throw it in here and you can easily access it from its own collection. Amstrad CPC, we've got 27 games in here. We'll take a look. So all of these are scraped, and look how nice that looks. It's in alphabetical order too, so much easier to navigate than that master all games list. So we've got Batman in there. Not everything is scraped. You can see that Batman title, Batman the Caped Crusader, which I believe is, yeah, it's the UK version right there. Okay, that one's not scraped, but looks like the majority of titles are in here, which I'm definitely liking. Again, every few that you go down, you'll find one that's not scraped, but definitely looks like the majority are. Just makes for a better selection. Now we'll back out. Capcom System 1, we've got 32 games in here. Capcom System 2, we've got 37 games. Capcom System 3, we've got 4 games. Let's take a look at Capcom System 2. So it's using the file names here. You'll notice that this one actually has video previews. And we're just gonna bring the volume down just a little bit on here as we comb through this. But yeah, see how like Street Fighter 2, for example. So like right here we have Street Fighter 2, it's just SSF2 in here rather than being spelled out. So a little bit harder to navigate, but at least we have the box art and we have a nice video preview in here as well, which is a nice touch. So we're gonna back out of this collection. We'll go down to MAME. We have 708 games in MAME currently. We'll go ahead and dive into that collection. So this one, you see how small the screenshot is? But then there's some big ones there. Okay, just kind of all over the place. But hey, if the games work, I'm not gonna be too worked up about the presentation here, but it does look like everything's a little bit different. Some have, I do like the fact that this collection is giving us the description down there. It's giving us some more images, but then we still have the video preview. So that's a nice touch. Consistency is key though. Let's see. Pretty nice, definitely liking it. So let's see, what game can we look up here to see, to kind of gauge what they've included? Do we have WWF WrestleFest, one of my favorites. I always look for either that or like Michael Jackson's Moonwalker is a good one too. We have WrestleFest right there. We have Superstars as well as WrestleMania as well. So definitely seems like they probably have a lot of your classic titles in here. We've got the X-Men game, 2-player and 4-player. I'm sure we have the Simpsons in here, but let's verify. Let's go up here to T. There we go. And it should be in here under for The Simpsons. I think that's typically where it's found. So it should be right down here if they have it on here. There it is. So you have the 2-player version and the 4-player version. Now they haven't scraped it though. So it is one of those titles where we are missing the video preview as well as cover art, box art, screenshots, etc. All right, we'll back out. As long as the game's there, that's all that really matters. But we've got Atari 2600 now with 31 games. We've got PC Engine here with 359 games. We've got Family Computer over here with 1,634 games. We've got Super Famicom here with 3,970 games. Let's take a look at that. And this is one of those collections where it's got the number in front, so the alphabetical order is going to be pretty wonky, and it looks like nothing appears to be scraped inside here. Maybe because it's a much larger collection with over 3,000 games. In fact, what was that? It was just under 4,000 games, right? Yeah, 3,970. All right, we've got Nintendo Entertainment System with 498 games. And again, we've got the Super Mario games in here, but they're not scraped. They're not in alphabetical order. So just navigating this is going to be kind of a pain. We'll back out. We have Super Nintendo here with 1,331 games. And also not scraped in here either. Wow. When I see that, it makes me think that they just didn't plan accordingly with the capacity of the card. Like they have video previews for Capcom system game collections, but Then over here, they don't even have room to put in just the screenshot or the logos. So it's just poor management, I think, on the capacity, because there's a way to include all this stuff with just screenshots, or you just minimize, or you up the, you minimize what's included, or you up the capacity of the card to get it, the way that you want it. So Nintendo 64, 181 games. I'm interested to see how these perform on here. Now this is put together very nicely here. No video previews, but we have the screenshot, we have the description, we have the box art, the logo, etc. So very nicely put together. I don't need video previews, but this looks light years better than, this collection over here, which had absolutely nothing. So back to N64, let's see what's included. We've got some California Speed. I love that game. That might be a good one to test out on here. We also have Cruisin' World, and we also have Cruisin' USA. In addition to that, we have Doom 64, we have Earthworm Jim 3D, we've got Duke Nukem 64, we've got my all-time favorite game, Gauntlet Legends, right there. We do have GoldenEye in here as well. Very nice. We have Hydro Thunder, another one of my favorites, Ken Griffey Jr.'s Slugfest. We've got some Kirby 64. We've got Mario Kart 64, Mario Party. Looks like all the Mario Tennis as well. All the Mario titles are in here. So this is a pretty stacked collection for N64. We will jump into that and see what the performance is like, though. We have original Game Boy with 3,670 games. We've got Game Boy Color with 2,097 games. So we have a lot of games here and they are scraped. They're put together very nicely. What was that up at the top? So we have Game Boy Color official game ROM complete works, okay? We've got featured games as well. Interesting. So that's a lot of games though. So I don't know if there's duplicates in here or they just have those like bundled games where you get 2 in 1, but definitely too many games. Now we also have Game Boy Advance here with 1,080 games. That's an on-point collection. Good amount of games on there. Won't have any duplicates with that number. Nintendo DS with 28 games. We'll take a look at DS. And some stuff is scraped, as you see up here at the top, and then some is not. So kind of all over the place. Looks like the majority is not in here. Well, then it surprises you. Definitely interesting. All right, we'll keep it moving. We have SG-1000 from Sega with 68 games. We've got Sega Mega Drive with 1,218 games. We've got Sega 32X with 21 games. We've got Sega Dreamcast, 5 games. So huge Dreamcast fan. Let's see what's included. Crazy Taxi 2, Dead or Alive 2, Giga Wing 2, Legacy of Kain Soul Reaver, and Marvel vs. Capcom 2. Very nice, and you can see everything is put together very nicely, very uniform. I dig it. We've got Sega Game Gear over here with 261 games. We've got Neo Geo with 187 games. Just verifying I was reading that correct. Yes, 187. So your Metal Slugs will be in here. So also, nothing is scraped. Yeah, it's just, I just wish it was a little bit more uniform. I do like the shortcuts, so the Metal Slug titles are all in their own folder. So you find the franchises up here at the top, and you can find like all the Fatal Fury games. Definitely like the convenience of that. Now we'll back out. We've got Neo Geo Pocket with 46 games. We've got original PlayStation with 23 games. Not a huge collection, but let's see what we have here. And it looks to be just like Dreamcast and N64. Very well polished. We've got Crash Team Racing. I love that game. It's probably my favorite for this collection. Oh, and it would be a close, I don't know, Tekken 3 might be my favorite. And Tony Hawk Pro Skater, we have the original. The second one in that series is definitely the one that I favor, but Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 is good too. Castlevania up there at the top, Crash Bandicoot, Double Dragon, Final Fantasy even, some Marvel games, Mega Man, Mortal Kombat, good stuff. So I would love to see more than 23 games in PlayStation, but that is a good selection of titles. We got 27 PSP games. We'll definitely jump in here as well. I'm looking at MotoGP down there at the bottom. It's kind of calling my name. I love that game. It's not scraped. We've got Soul Calibur Broken Destiny, another one of my favorites. Virtua Tennis 3, okay. You don't typically see that on here, but I like it. We don't have Ridge Racer. That's another one of my favorites, but definitely a solid offering in here. And some are scraped, some aren't, which is seemingly very typical here. And we are back to where we started with the all games list. Again, 18,543 games total on the R36MAX Handheld Game Console. Let's dive into some gameplay demos and test out the performance.
All right, guys, we jumped into the R36MAX plug-and-play handheld game console here today, and I had a very good experience with this for the most part. Now, in terms of the layout and design of the actual handheld, I am a huge fan of what this offers. I think it's a great visual on here. The audio quality is top-notch. I did find some minor distortions when at 100% volume on certain games and emulators. I found that being at like 89-90% on the volume eliminates all of that. At that volume level, you're not having any distortions in any of the games that I tried out. So, it definitely has not the highest quality audio, but it definitely gets you by in a big way as long as you're not maxing it out. Now, the 4-inch IPS screen, crystal clear. I mean, you guys can see even right here, it visually looks amazing. Volume control is easy to use on the side. Buttons are very responsive. The analog sticks here are on point. I had a great experience with the analog sticks here, much better than I typically, have with handhelds. Usually you have your limitations. You're kind of overcorrecting because they're not Hall effect. These aren't Hall effect joysticks by any means, but they are high quality, and I found them very easy to use and very reliable. The shoulder and trigger buttons on the back side here, the placement on those is on point. I love the little, we'll call these cheeks at the bottom that you kind of press, at least I press up my middle finger against, and then kind of just gives me some extra stability on here. I find them to really stabilize the overall experience here when using this handheld. Now, in terms of how everything is set up internally on the 64GB micro SD card, it's kind of all over the place. Some collections have scraped data. For those that don't know what scraped data is, it's basically the data that's displayed along with each of your games collection by collection. So in some cases we have video previews, in some cases we have screenshots, box art, descriptions of titles, and in some cases we have absolutely nothing. It's on a collection by collection basis. Some things are polished beautifully and they look great, and some things have absolutely nothing, and it looks like, I mentioned this in the video, it looks like they ran out of space on the card and just started, cutting things out, which, is just poor planning, especially on something that's gonna go to market. And, the gaming market is obviously very big. So I would have polished it off much better than what is shown here. Some collections are in alphabetical order and very easy to navigate, others are not. So it's just very hit or miss collection by collection, but at the end of the day, the games do work, they do launch, and they are present on here. So it can be a little bit of a challenge to find what you're looking for at times. The visuals of these collections isn't always great, but the games are present on here and they deliver for the most part a very good experience. Now let's talk about that experience. In terms of performance here, N64 is a little hit or miss. Some titles work perfect like Mario Kart 64. Other titles like Cruisin' World today do not work well at all. They're very laggy. You can tweak settings, try to improve it, but they're never gonna be perfect. Dreamcast only had a handful of titles. They're all lagged out. They're not a good experience at all on Dreamcast, to the point where they should have just left them off entirely. There's no point of even populating games into a collection if they don't work, effectively. PSP, very similar to N64. Some titles work perfect, some are laggy, some have intermittent sort of glitches in there, which we saw with Soul Calibur Broken Sword today, and then some just don't work at all. So N64 and PSP are gonna be hit or miss. Dreamcast is a total miss. And then everything else on here, PlayStation, all the way through Super Nintendo, Genesis, all that good stuff, Classic Arcade, of course, all that performs perfect. So I think that's the real win for this product. And at $69.99, which is the price at the time of this recording for this product, I think it is a perfect price point for all those retro collections that are stacked and deliver a solid performance. So if you're looking for higher end retro game collections like N64, PSP, and Dreamcast, I would say this probably isn't the best option for you, but you will get some bonuses with some of the N64 games that, do actually perform pretty close to perfect. So hit or miss there, don't get it just for N64 or PSP, but if you stumble upon a title that works perfect in those, it's an added bonus. At that price point, it's a fair price point for what you get here. It's a great product. Very lightweight, very easy to take with you on the go, and delivers a great experience as long as it aligns with what collections you're looking to dive into and enjoy. So If you guys want some additional information on the R36MAX Plug and Play Handheld Game Console, I'll provide a link at the top of your screen as well as in the description of this video. And also, please let me know what you guys thought of the R36MAX in the comments of this video. That's going to do it for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please give me a thumbs up right here on the video. And of course, hit subscribe to stay in the loop for all future videos. That's going to do it for today. Thanks for watching.